So good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another album review of The Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and it's very fucking late. But why did I stay up so late today? Because, well, this morning, I didn't know I was gonna do this, but I saw on the Facebook that and on the social media that Bring Me the Horizon were releasing Posthuman Next Gen. And I was like, well, it's been a minute. So this is the follow-up to the 2020, and they were doing like some EPs, but then they said this is a full album. So it's not an EP, it's 16 tracks, almost an hour in length. And they had released 6 tracks already. And this is an album that was postponed a lot. You know, they had, the band had they had some member changes, like their keyboardist, like he left the band, and he was like a big part of the second wave of this band, because this band started like a deathcore band, but then in 2013 with Sempiternal, they totally changed their sound and they experimented, and that's the album that got me into the band. So I like more what they did in that album, and after that, their deathcore sound. I really didn't like them. I thought they sounded like every other deathcore band. So with Sempiternal in 2014, they found like a sound, and like they mixed like rock with some electronics. But that album, Sempiternal, was heavy as fuck, and I really enjoyed that album, and it was one of my favorite albums of 2014. So then they put out the album after that. I enjoyed it, and Amo was too poppy. Maybe that's their poppiest album. So with the 2020 release, it was heavier, and they had some great guest stars on this one. So on this one, it's a continuation, but yeah, it took a long time. But just to let you know how long it took, the first single that they released for this album was Die For You, and they released this in 2021. And Die For You, I remember that it sounded more like that Amo sound. It was like more commercial, more pop. But there's a part of the song where, it has like a very cool guitar, like almost at the end. But it's really a very like pop track with some guitars on it. So I thought, yeah, maybe they're going back to that Amo sound. But then they released 5 more singles, and that's why I was like strange, like they still didn't release it. I remember they released the song Lost, Strangers, and those 2 are very hooky, but also very memorable. Both tracks deal with mental health issues. Lost is all about, like not medicine not working and you being lost and not knowing what to do. There's a part on the song that he mentions MTV, which I think is, yeah, MTV, who the fuck watches MTV anymore? So that track is cool, and the music video is fun as hell. And Strangers is all about like we're all a bunch of strangers in a room. Sometimes we don't know someone, even if they're here with us, and I thought that was a great track. Both of those tracks got great choruses, so I really enjoyed those 2 singles. But then they had there's another single that they had, Dark Side, and that's more like again on the like pop side of things, but with some cool guitars on it as well. But the last singles that they released were heavier. They released Amen I think like at the almost last year, like December or November, and Amen featured a rapper named Lil Uzi and Daryl Palumbo from Glassjaw, and that song is so heavy, and it's all about it's taking a poke at religion, but especially religious people that think that what they believe is right and what you believe is wrong. So you have to believe what they believe. If not, you are going to hell. And it's a great track. It's the most aggressive track on this album by far. I really enjoyed it, and I like because it feels very chaotic, and it does it in 3 minutes and 9 seconds. So it's a great track. I think that's the standout track out of the singles and maybe the album. The last single that they released was the song Kool-Aid, and that one, it's, you know, it's accessible, but it's heavy, and it's got a great chorus to it, and it's all about, you know, like you drank the Kool-Aid. And this album, I feel like there's a loose concept to it, because like every track, almost like when every track ends, there's like some interludes, some like noises, like computer noises, like it's a simulation, and I like it because there's like a running theme, and they tie all the songs together. So when you listen to this album in like the sequence that it's meant to be listened to, it really makes more sense. Like for example, from R.I.P. Rest in Peace, Doscore Remix, at the ending, it says like we're going to have like say some last words, and it goes into Amen, and it starts like saying like you are going to hell, like just great. I want to mention that they use some video game noises on some tracks, like on R.I.P. There's some video game sounding noises, and also they do this on a song like All Spiritual, which is more like an interlude electronic track. And then you have tracks like N/A, and that one starts with more of like an acoustic guitar, but then it gets a little bit like trippier. Sometimes I thought that part of this song could get a little bit annoying, but it wasn't a bad track. Out of the other tracks that they didn't release as singles, I think the album starts great with, you have like an intro in OST, Dream Seeker, and it's like, let's fucking start. And you go into Utopia. And Utopia, it's really catchy, but also earwormy, and I think Oily Sykes sounds great. That's something that I gotta say. I think Oily Sykes is good as a singer. You know, he does some great screaming, but when he's singing and he does those choruses, they're just like very memorable, and they stay in your mind. And I thought that when I was gonna go into this record, because I heard 6 tracks, that maybe I would be sick of these tracks by now. But you know what? I actually love the singles, so I think when I can still love some singles that have been out for some time, that lets you know that they're great tracks. Not to say that the songs that are in singles aren't bad. You know, you have songs like Tomten Statues that you cried, which is pretty cool, and it's also got like a very rocking beat. Then you have a song called Limousine featuring Aurora. I don't know who Aurora is, but that track felt more like a 90s type of like rock. But then it gets more into electronic and like a pop sensibilities, and Aurora really shines when she sings. I don't know who she is, but she has a great singing part on this track. So let me say things that maybe I didn't like about the record. I think the record, first of all, there's like a track after Amen that is called OST, Pusse, like pussy, and it feels like this rave, but this rave that gives me a fucking headache, because it's like the splitting noises, and then there's a part like it's like, oh, you like pussy, and it's 2 minutes and 49 seconds of filler. It doesn't do anything, and I think it drags the album down after what I think is the best track on the album in Amen. The other single, that Die For You, I like it, but I think that putting that like at the end, I don't know, it doesn't make sense after some great tracks before it. And the last track is called Dig It, and it says that it's like 7 minutes and 19 seconds, but actually it's a little bit less, because the first minute there's like this electronic girl talking. It sounds like a Pokemon, and it's saying about like you like are going into the next generation and some stuff. And then Dig It starts, and Dig It starts like kind of slow, maybe a little bit too slow, but then it builds up a little bit and gets better. But then like at the 5-minute mark, it ends like abruptly, and you're like, what the hell? There's still like 2 minutes, and you have like 30 or 45 seconds of like nothing. and then the girl comes back and tells you like, thank you for doing the simulation. And you know, it's part of like the theme of the record. You know, this record, the other negative that I would say is that it even though it sounds great at times, I think sometimes it sounds a little bit too overproduced and too much like a machine, but I think that's what they were going for with this record. But I gotta say that I really enjoyed it, and was it worth staying up until 12 to listen to it? I would say yes. Now I'm fucking sleepy, but hey, at least the album did not suck. But you know, it's not a perfect record, and how I would best describe it is like, you know, Bring Me the Horizons look like a boy band, but from Hot Topic, and they have guitars. This is the sound of the band on this record. So if you have enjoyed their last albums, I think you will enjoy this. If you wanted that deathcore sound from their first albums, I'm sadly to say that it's not there, and I don't think this band is ever going to go back to that. Something that I gotta say about Bring Me the Horizon is that I think that they have that crossover appeal to, you know, they're not only people that like rock or metal can dig them. I think people that like pop music and other stuff can enjoy them, and they have that ability that a band like Linkin Park had. So now that Linkin Park, you know, they probably won't, like, it won't be the same. I think that Bring Me the Horizon is the band that I believe can carry that torch of like that gateway band for people to get into heavier music. So I want to know from you guys, what do you think of the new album by Bring Me the Horizon, Posthuman Next Gen? Do you think it's good? Do you think it sucks? Comment what are your favorite tracks, and let me know what you thought about the record. And if you like the videos that I'm putting out, do not forget to subscribe, and do not forget to ring the bell so you can get notified when I upload videos. So until next time, this is Hector, the shield doing a couch, and I'll see you right here on the couch. Thank you and good night. You still here? It's over. Go home. Bye-bye.